the session I was presenting in was about recent advances in movement disorders. So they asked a whole panel of people to give updates on what the kind of current snapshots of things going on. I was covering Huntington disease, and where there's just a ton of amazing science and new therapeutic development. So given my 10-minute to 15-minute max mandate, I chose to focus on new therapeutics that are currently in development or at the stage of being in human subject trials. I think that's less about the one thing that has the most promise and more about, 10 years ago, there was little to nothing going on in the Huntington's disease space in terms of completely novel and new therapeutics. There were some really well-designed trials with supplements or available agents that taught us a lot. But at this point now, there's this whole slew of brand new things that are really changing the landscape. They're disease modifying or neuroprotective. They're really going to change how people's disease progresses if they work out. And none of them, even if they all work, not any single one of them is 100% fix, especially not for 100% of people with Huntington's disease. But I could see a future where you may end up using two agents that are both neuroprotective in different ways to try to get as much gain as possible. On both the pharma company side and on the academic network side, the research teams are actively talking about that. I think it's still difficult to talk a lot about that in the public sphere for a couple of reasons. One is that we don't know if any of this stuff is going to work yet. So, and then we have like really high hopes for a bunch of it, really exciting preclinical data, rapidly enrolling trials. It feels like a little bit of an extra leap to start talking about how to pair things together that we haven't proven yet. It's also, in the early days of something, I think people fear that it can come across as being unenthusiastic about the thing you're working on, to say that it would be exciting to have it partner with other stuff, as opposed to it being, the most amazing thing since sliced bread all by itself. So I think mostly it's just a little bit early in the development side to start pitching that, but people do actively talk about it, which is why I actively mentioned it. And it's also a reason that I think that a lot of these studies are going to be successful at actively going forward at the same time, because it's spreading out the scientific risk, since we don't know what'll hit. But if everything hits, that's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily creating intense competition. It could just be making a field of choices where the people can find the best choice or the best combinations for them.